Welcome back to Anime King 3, guys. First of all, if you'd like to support me and the channel, my PayPal will be in the description. As I said, I'm only doing 3 series on a channel at a time. I got this idea some time ago. Sorry that it took me this long, but here it is. What if Naruto had Isshiki Ōtsutsuki eyes? So let us give Naruto one of the most powerful, up-to-date character eyes and see how it plays out. If you want more series, your own, or movies to be done by me, simply write your ideas down in the comment, whether it be a movie or a series, and yeah, I'll jot it down for future use. So without further ado or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this? Let's begin. Now guys, start the intro. Our story begins with Kaguya Otsutsuki and Isshiki Ōtsutsuki, two very powerful beings in their own right. She's been loyal to her clan for centuries now, always faithful, always loyal. However, this day she betrayed everything she once knew. She struck her partner down. Isshiki Ōtsutsuki's body was much more durable than your average individual, though. He bled, but he survived. He crawled into the ear of a young monk. He crawled into his ears and feed off him, keeping himself alive, merging with him to make sure that he survived. His blood, his DNA, that was left there. There were stories told by the very monk of the monasteries that they saw beings from another planet. Those stories were seen as just figments, legends. Over time though, the strange blood, due to the passing seasons and nature, crystallized down, forged into the very rock itself. As years upon years upon years pass, centuries later, an ancient branch of a clan known as the Uzumaki clan, they were on a precedent to learn all the secrets of this world, to study them, to understand them. The Uzumaki clan was fascinated with knowledge. They dabbled in Fuinjutsu in ways that no other clan ever did, which made them dangerous and a target by the rest of the world. They were powerful. Finding the location, it took them some time, but the crystallized blood was found, the DNA. They were astonished. Could this really be essence that life came from another part of the universe and came to the elemental nation? There was so much secrets, the Sage of Six Paths. What was his origin? While most believed that he was a myth, he was indeed real. Thus, the DNA was taken. As they researched chakra anomalies, the chakra, the power, showing that his blood was no normal human blood. The enzymes, the cells, everything inside of it, abnormal, unusual, possessing things that human blood did not possess in the slightest. There was a brilliant Uzumaki scientist amongst them. While rather unknown, he was fascinated by the properties of alien chakra, mixing with human DNA, changing. He was truly intrigued by it all, willing to do, whatever it takes for his own scientific breakthrough. but also fearing that the power might be dangerous. He sealed it. He sealed the essence into himself. After being unable to truly dissect and replicate the DNA in the way that he wanted to, the function of it was just so different from their human blood and their enzymes. Everything was just so unusual. He sealed it in himself was the ultimate test. To truly see the mixture, the mutation. Unfortunately though, it did not react it how he wanted. The forbidden genetic mutation was sealed away. He never gave up, but he also had a lovely wife and 2 children. That was after he sealed the blood within himself. He passed on, learning a lot but never truly unlocking the secrets. His children went on to have children. Each time, the bloodline produced that sealed distortion, replicated and grew stronger and stronger, reclaiming personal traits, reclaiming personal connection to the past wielder. Due to the fusion of their Uzumaki blood being special as well, it strengthened the DNA. It somehow never completely mixed. It never diluted. It remained firm, it remained powerful. As the years went by, Kushina Uzumaki mother passed this on to her daughter Kushina Uzumaki. Within Kushina, the blood started to differ in many different ways due to Kushina's overwhelming chakra, and thus Kushina Uzumaki gave birth to a boy known as Naruto Uzumaki, and that is where things really took a drastic turn. The ancient genetic trace had laid dormant within Kushina, chakra coils, masked by her powerful Uzumaki life force, her powerful chakra. When Naruto Uzumaki came into the world, the combination of Kushina vitality and Minato Namikaze blood, a perfect storm was created, a genetical breakthrough. Awakened after thousands of years, the mutation bonded and melded to the boy in an unusual way. And this is where our story begins. An 11-year-old Naruto Uzumaki sat alone, simply observing. In his hand was a kunai as he threw it up, only for it to vanish. When he opened his hand though, the kunai was there. When Naruto was younger, 6 to 7 years old, he believed that he was going mad. Whenever he was either angry or feeling emotional stress, strange things happen. Objects like a small pebble, kunais, even his toys, so much of his toys, ceased to exist. No one believed him when he told them. They believed that he stole them or destroyed them. But Naruto believed that he was cursed. He was cursed with something that he truly could not understand. Until a few months later, he saw it. His reflection. He saw his eyes during a stressful moment of sadness. The first sign of the mutation, a 2-spike pattern. The 2 spikes pointed towards the center of his eye, where there was a golden orb, almost like a miniature sun. The 2 black spikes, one at the left, one at the right, pointing inwards. Yes, they pointed inwards. There was 2 of them. He believed that he was going insane when he saw it because his eyes were supposed to be blue. No, that was unnatural. When activated the eye, his right eye that is, it glowed, faintly gold. It was truly unusual. It took him some time to learn that he could actually shrink small objects. In the beginning, it was just a 1 meter radius. Small to medium-sized objects, he could shrink them, but they returned back to normal after a few minutes because he had no true control. And he could not shrink living things. And overusing it gave him a massive headache, yes. Naruto was surprised by all of this. He never told anyone. He practiced in secret, and that is when his other eye, his left eye, showed another mutation which was truly shocking. However, unlike the first one that he alone seemed to possess, Naruto had seen the second one before. It was the Byakugan. Now that was surprising. Naruto questioned if he was a part of the family. But why would they abandon him? It made no sense. Then again, he's never seen a Hyuga with two different eyes. Naruto started to see things. At first, he was pretty weirded out about it. The way his vision flipped in and out. He had no control when it first surfaced, but it's been years of practice, gathering little information that he could to make it not look suspicious. But unlike the Hyugas, he can turn his eyes off. He doesn't have to constantly keep his eyes looking white like theirs, which was strange. And now with his eyes, both of them mutating like this, they seem to help one another, making them stronger. As Naruto could shrink objects pretty easily. The most surprising part when he was just turning 11 years old, he learned that he could shrink himself as well. Now that was surprising. Yes, it was rather off-putting when he shrank certain part of his body, not knowing if they would return back to normal. And he was pretty weirded out, but here he is now, after so much time of practicing. Naruto had kept this to himself rather well. No one was aware that he could do what he can do. This had really affected Naruto's social life. He doesn't really have that much friends. He was a loner. Not to mention most people are afraid of him. They believe that he was always angry, but Naruto wasn't really angry. It was just the way his face was set when he was calm. As he looked really irritated most of the time. He heard someone said that once. He was shocked by those words. And to make things worse, he barely took time to know people. After all, most people seem to have this grudge against him. And Naruto wasn't really that interested in pleasing people that doesn't really like him. Unfortunately though, focusing so much on these new eyes and abilities, his academy work tanked. Not to mention his academy training. Naruto failed the clone jutsu when one of his senseis, the assistant sensei Mizuki, came to him. Naruto stole the forbidden scroll, which wasn't hard. After all, he could shrink himself. However, something interesting that he learned. The clone jutsu, the precise amount of chakra is needed. Naruto was so focused on just doing the technique, he had no idea just how excellent his control was. The Byakugan, the amount of focus and precise, he could literally see the amount of chakra. He could see it because he could literally see himself and around him. Naruto was stunned. After reading through the scroll and learning the actual Shadow Clone Jutsu, he then realized the precise amount of chakra is needed. Naruto wanted to punch himself for being so stupid. However, on this night, a reveal that he never expected came out. As Naruto hid behind the tree, learning that Mizuki was a traitor, turns out that he had the 9 tails inside of him. However, it was Haruka. Naruto had not taken much stock of the man, his sensei. The way he spoke about him with such confidence, believing in him. Naruto stepped out of the foliage. As he placed the scroll down, Haruka told him to run. Finally, he realized there is no point, said Mizuki. He can't outrun me. He's going to die here. You're wrong, said Naruto. If anyone is going to die, it is you. My oh my. So the 9-tailed brat is finally gaining some courage. Don't fool yourself, you brat. You're nothing compared to me. Mizuki launched his Fuma Shuriken. But the weapon vanished. Confusion. Mizuki didn't understand in the slightest. Taking it up to a fluke, he jumped down, pulling a kunai as he drove it towards Naruto only for the kunai to vanish. Unfortunately though, having just recently learned that he could shrink himself, that wasn't something that Naruto had completely mastered. It took time for him. It should be almost instantaneous, but it took time for him. His body was still developed. After all, there was four pointers in his eyes now. And there was still more spaces there. There should be others. That meant his power had not reached its potential just yet. Mizuki was stunned. Haruka was confused. Until Naruto threw his hand out. Mizuki dropped to the ground as a kunai returned back to its normal size in his stomach. He ripped it out, looking up. Naruto kicked him in the face. 3 clones appeared, summoned by Naruto. One punched him in the back of the head, the other one knocked away his legs. The real then kicked him in the nose, breaking it. They proceeded to beat the living crap out of him until he was begging. Yes, he was literally begging to the child that he just promised to kill. Mercy, he said. Naruto picked him up by the throat. Holding the same kunai in his hand, Naruto, stop! Haruka yelled out to him. So caught up in his anger. Something that he hasn't really processed rather well. Due to learning about the 9 tails and Mizuki trying to kill him, Naruto almost took his life. Haruka didn't want that for him. The monster should suffer for his crimes and be in prison. He shouldn't be let off that easily for what he just tried to do. Naruto dropped him to the ground, his fist bloody. Time skip. When the envoys finally landed, Haruka given Naruto his headband. Something happened. Naruto and Mizuki. Battle was over a few minutes ago. So why was Mizuki now screaming? The envoys were confused as well. He was alive, but he was screaming so violently like he was in agony when suddenly Mizuki's body imploded outwards. His body erupted, scorching the ground, like power just exploded out of him. Everyone backed away, cautiously and confused. They tested him. They ran an autopsy on the corpse, learning that Mizuki chakra pathways were fighting against one another. An outside stimulus swelled his pathways, blocking all chakra receptors, and they exploded inwards. That is why the ground was scorched. It was pure raw, undiluted chakra. And this was all because of Naruto. At the moment, Hiruzen Sarutobi was speechless. He gazed at the strange golden black eye with the 4 pointers. However, Naruto Byakugan had changed. It was no longer the same. Something was different in its visual looking as well. Odd, yes. It doesn't look like your standard Byakugan eye. In the beginning when he first awakened it did, but now, when activated, it had a glowing silver white about it. Not your pure white, it was silver. You could see it. And the edge of his eyes were golden. Yes, you could see the golden ring around the edge of his eyes. Unlike your traditional Byakugan eyes, there was a remnant of his pupil, a tiny remnant that was glowing golden as well. The mutated genes in his body were truly adapting to him, and the more exposure to his abilities, the more they grew in unnatural and unusual ways. His eyes were going to develop really different. The 360 vision perhaps was not all. The blind spot shortened, but within time. For now though, Naruto was a spectacular formation of genetical alteration, well inside of him that is. Tests were ran on Naruto. Hiruzen being displeased that Naruto did not tell him about this, due to him being by Naruto's apartment multiple times, dropping off the monthly stipend, but Naruto only had one question for him. And why didn't you tell me about the 9 tails? Naruto wasn't an easily forgiven child, and that was rather clear. Not to mention, Naruto wanted to kill Mizuki. Not just for Aruka's sake, but Mizuki had tried to kill him. And Naruto didn't see why he should show remorse to someone that wanted to claim his life. Naruto was never raised as a soft, naive boy. He raised to not rely on people, taught himself not to be reliant on people that much, which has changed his ways very differently. Naruto met Hayashi Hyuga, the man wishing to see his eyes, the only other person that they could go to. Hayashi was shocked, but not more so than those that test Naruto genetics. They frankly could not explain it. The boy seemed to be a combination, a hybrid of things that they simply could not explain, things that they've never seen before. By all of their tests and all that they've done, this boy should not be functioning as a normal human being. His genetical markers and DNAs made absolutely no sense. His eyes were spectacular in many different ways. The elders of the clan were informed about this, as they tried to find any link between themselves and the young boy. However, there was a missing link that they had to speak about. The Hokage speak about in private with Hayashi Hyuga, Naruto's parents, in order to find out if Naruto's lineage was tied back to any Hyugas which would cause the mutation. Certain secrets will have to be revealed, but not to Naruto. Naruto knew they were speaking about him, but things that he couldn't hear about and things that concerned him. He didn't really trust the Hokage that much. Learning about the whole 9-tail debacle, the man not telling him a single instant of that. Naruto did not trust the Hokage all too well. They wanted to know what he was able to do with those eyes. Naruto kept the information to a minimum, telling them that he can shrink objects. It took him 5 seconds to shrink objects, which was a lie, of course. He could do it almost instantly. But he wasn't going to tell them the truth. There wasn't much more that he can do, which was another lie as well. But Naruto did not trust them because they did not trust him to tell him the entire truth. And Naruto wondered, what was his lineage? What was his connection? Nothing else was said to him much, as the Hyugas seemed to go into deliberation of trying to understand what was going on, what was his connection. Team 7, huh? Naruto thought to himself. He knew of the both of them, but he did not know them all too well. They were the only ones left in the class after their sensei was late. Sakura stepped towards him. She wasn't really familiar with Naruto. Others were a bit afraid of him. They say that he was dangerous, this and that. Just because he looked rather uninviting, people made up silly rumors. I don't think we know each other all too well, she said, extending a hand with a smile on her face. Introducing herself once again. Despite being in the same class, some people could be light years away from one another despite being amongst one another for the past couple of years. He took her hand and shook it, introducing himself as well. He wasn't as scary as they say. Sasuke, on the other hand, sat by himself. Naruto wasn't going to approach him. As Naruto simply sat down, Sakura starting up a conversation between the two. Well, she tried, but neither seemed to be rather interested or care that much. When their sensei finally arrived, he was late. Kakashi Hatake questioned them on their dreams and all of that. Sasuke had a clear goal, Sakura did not know hers. Naruto himself was confused. He never really thought of anything like that. He didn't really have any major desires or major goals. The next day was the bell test. Team 7 separated the moment the sensei told him to begin, as Naruto looked towards the bells. Watching the copy ninja, Naruto would like to win this test without revealing much about his abilities. He wondered if the Hokage spoke to his sensei about him. As the test progressed forward, Sakura was tied to a post, as she was the one that got nowhere close and was entangled by a simple illusion. They weren't supposed to feed her, given that she did not eat the night before. Whole other thing with her trying to lose weight and all of that. She was hungry. She was rather embarrassed when her stomach grumbled. Naruto wonder why. Why would he stalk them all together? Why would he care? If they were supposed to fend for themselves, this test did not really make that much sense. But Naruto was done holding back. Naruto could take the bells, and Kakashi could not stop him because he could trick them. However, perhaps there was something else. Naruto heard her stomach grumble once again. He did not do this because of any teamwork or any comradeship. He did this because she was hungry, and he could see the discomfort on her face. Naruto handed her his food. She was surprised, but Sensei said, "Eat," said Naruto. "What's the point if you starve?" he said to her. Sasuke realized that as well. After being unable to retrieve the bells, perhaps if the three of them were to work together, they were going to need her. They were going to need her strength. Yes, they were. So yes, perhaps if they worked together as one. She was happy, greatly so. Kakashi appeared as Naruto was ready to strike, but the man was not here to fight though. Time skip. He reported back in. Naruto showed no sign of using either eyes. If he really had those abilities at his possession, after what Iruka had saw, why wouldn't he use them? I believe he doesn't trust me. Why? Kakashi said, confused by that. I've noticed signs. He doesn't trust that easily. And he doesn't forgive that easily. I think he's still upset about not knowing that he was a nine-tailed Jinchūriki. I have gone back into his lineage, trying to find anything on Minato's side, but Minato is not related to any Hyuga in the slightest. As for his mother, her lineage is a lot harder to try to get. Impossible, really. What about the Hyugas? How do they take this? Kakashi questioned. They're deliberating on the matter. Naruto Byakugan is not your standard Byakugan. It is different in almost every single way. Even the veins are less pronounced. However, if something is brought forward, perhaps he will have a family. But sir, the Hyugas, Kakashi said, rather concerned, knowing how they treat their family. Not to mention with Naruto not being a pure member. Well, things were not going to go so good. Hiruzen had no choice because if he had hid this away and they had found out, it would seem like he was tampering with clan business. Something that the Hokage could not do unless there was a political danger for the clan head or for the village. So he had to say something. The Hyugas were more than happy to take Naruto in because he was a nine-tailed Jinchūriki. Not to mention with the recent revelation, this was going to be a lot more for their clan. Perhaps, if the information about him being the son of Minato and a connection with the Hyuga clan Their names would indeed be buried within the legendary path of future, because there has been no Hyuga Hokage. The council was debating on this, the elders of the Hyuga clan. A lot was being discussed in the time that Naruto was, well, being with his team. Naruto. On Team 7, he had to say it wasn't that bad. They were mostly silent though because Sasuke did not talk that much, and Naruto wasn't that interested in knowing people because he was used to being by himself. It came as a surprise though when he was summoned. This time it wasn't only one Hyuga, it was 4. The man from before Hayashi and 3 others. One of them were Hayashi's father and 2 old ones. They wanted to meet him. Naruto gazed towards the Hokage, but this had nothing to do with him, it was all about them. They wanted to see his eyes. And Naruto exposed them to them, allowing them to examine his eyes with their own. They nodded to one another. Further debate on the matter. However, what he was told next by Hayashi was surprising. You want me to join your clan? You are part Hyuga. This is your family, Hayashi said. Usually a matter like this would not be discussed. For many different reasons, the Hyugas never, ever wanted their eyes to fall into enemies' hands. No other should get to have the power of the Byakugan. It didn't matter who they were. Thus, if there was a hybrid, breaking clan laws, stepping out without permission, the person was always taken in by the Hyuga. However, their life wasn't that A-okay. To be more precise, they weren't a main member. They would almost 100% be a branch member. However, Naruto was different for several reasons. Despite not knowing it, he was a son of Minato Namikaze, something that would send the Hyuga's political power into overdrive. Not to mention they were going to be in control of the Nine-Tails Jinchūriki. Thus, he would be something that sent the clan, as the president, to be forever the strongest clan to ever walk within Konoha, not to mention his other unusual dojutsu. Thus, this did not seem like a proposition, this seemed like an order, as much as they tried to nice it up. As Naruto was surprised when his things were moved from his old residence, no longer seeing it fit for him to live within such a broken down place. The Hokage had really no say in this. The council tried to stop it. Homura, Koharu, Danzo Shamura. However, there were several political factors where the Hyugas could do this. Naruto had the Byakugan, which meant he was a part of their clan. He was underage, which meant they had control. And despite him possessing the Nine Tails, the Nine-Tailed Fox did not belong to any one person. In fact, the first person that should have authority over the fox, which was Naruto Uzumaki, which connected to the first Hokage because, well, she was his wife. The first Hokage lineage was gone. If someone like Tsunade Senju was still within the village, they could have fight this, but she was no longer here, so Naruto Uzumaki was moved into the Hyuga residence. Naruto could see it in their eyes. The false pretend. He's seen it numerous times to recognize it rather easily. The way they spoke to him, most of the elders, some of the young ones, seemed to be rather fascinated by him. Yes, they seemed to be rather fascinated by his eyes. Naruto was placed under the protection of Hayashi Hyuga and the entire clan. Things move so quickly. Naruto could see it when they speak. When they spoke like he was this royalty, like he was special. Because they wanted to use him, and that was plain and simple. They wanted him to learn their ways. They wanted to incorporate him into the clan. Know that he was a part of them. Know that he had their protection. Him learning about his lineage was something that could happen because he had the backing of an entire clan. Naruto was brought in. They were doing this quickly so that he would know, so that he would trust them. Hyuga was the one that spoke to Naruto on the matter as Naruto was sitting down. My father, Naruto said, absolutely stunned. The time of processing all of this information angered Naruto even more. To know just how much they were lying to him again and again and again. It angered him greatly, yes it did. Naruto did not show it. He was quite well at controlling his anger, but he was indeed angry about the whole thing, learning that his father was Minato Namikaze. His mother, not as well known, her name was Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto kept his anger on the inside as he was put into the foliage. Hayashi's daughter kept on watching him. Naruto saw her in the academy. Her name was Hinata. The younger one also watched him as well. Naruto's home was within the residence, but he had his own little place for himself. People there treated him with respect. Yes, they treated him with respect. The branch members hated this because to them Naruto was an outsider that came in and had more say, more privilege than them, so they hated him. But the problem was, they could not do anything or say anything bad about him. Nowhere close to him, of course. Otherwise, they will be drastically punished. Neji Hyuga, though, was a much more intensive hatred person. Believing that fate already had his life planned out. Believing that he was destitute and cursed for something. Naruto found a spot to be alone. Given how their eyes work, it was hard. The whole time had been a drastic debacle. But this was a place that Neji come to be alone. When he saw Naruto, his first words were anger. "What the hell are you doing here?" he said. "This is my spot." Naruto got up. "I did not know that." Neji calmed himself, knowing that it would be improper to speak to a main member like this. Naruto started to walk away, but he saw the gaze. "Do you have a problem with me?" he questioned. "No, I don't." "Go on. You can say it," said Naruto. "None of the others are around. And to tell you the truth, I don't really care that much about this clan law." "What? How dare you say something like that?" Neji said, "You are a part of this clan. You are a part of the main family." "I didn't ask for that," said Naruto. "To be quite frank, I'd rather be alone than have some people kissing my ass for no reason. Knowing that they're doing it because they want to use me, not because they care." Neji was angered by those words. Because of his own situation, and Naruto being handed this with a silver platter, and yet he talked about it with such an uncaring way. Neji wasn't pleased in the slightest. Naruto could see that. Using his words to rile Neji up, he wanted to strike him. As Naruto laughed, rather amused by the whole thing. He did not like these people, because he could see them for what they truly were. And he could see that the branch member did not like him at all, because they didn't believe that he was worthy of gaining such a title. And Naruto has made it 100% clear that he doesn't really care about people that doesn't really care about him. "I didn't ask for this. I never wanted this," said Naruto. "So you might think that I'm blessed and that I should be happy about it, but I'm not. Because I don't care for this as you do," Naruto said, walking away. Neji bit his tongue as his anger surged, but he bit back all of that rage. Naruto got angry as they started to interfere. The Hyugas, that is, in his daily activities, life. Like he was just something for them to use. He didn't really have anyone to talk to because he didn't trust the Hokage. Slowly, His teammate Sakura Haruno. She saw his discomfort. He never spoke to her about his problems, but he spoke to her. He had to say he thought she was nothing but a fangirl. But she indeed have some common sense. She just did not use it most times when Sasuke was around. Something that Naruto pointed out, which made her pissed at him. Until 2 days later, she started to speak to him once again, telling him what he said wasn't nice. So Naruto told her that he wouldn't talk about it again. Their first dangerous mission was towards the land of Wave, where they ran into some rather dangerous opponents. The first was the Demon Brothers. Naruto already assumed that this was a test. Given his time within the Hyuga residence, Naruto has learned how to use the Byakugan more effectively. Kakashi Hatake noticed it and Naruto noticed him notice it. You see, unlike normal Byakugan users, Naruto could see something much more grand with his eyes. In a rather unique way. Something that he kept to himself, due to his distrust of them all. Naruto could see chakra threads outside the human body. Yes, he could see it outside the human body, useful for detecting traps, barriers, or genjutsus. Naruto could also see the fluctuation of these chakra threads, noticing small disturbance. He was aware that Kakashi knew, so Naruto said nothing. Sasuke moved quickly when they embarked, as Naruto saw him pin the chain. Naruto moved in. The other demon brother tried to use his blade upon Naruto, but he was surprised when it was gone. Naruto grabbed his wrist and jumped over. Naruto stepped in his shoulder. You see Naruto body produce the chakra fluctuation patterns in a different way. Hyugas using their hands, striking. They had to use their palms in different ways, but Naruto instinctively did it when he fought Mizuki. His punches sent fluctuation chakra in the human body, depending on the way that it was received, if it was blocked or simply received. As Naruto stepped on the demon brother's shoulder, the pulse of chakra disturbed him a bit, causing Naruto to land and punch him right in the back of the knee. You could see the movement, you could see the stiffen, you could see the fluctuation, the grimace on his face. Naruto could see the inside points in his body, but Naruto chakra, it did not hit a precise point. It spread, especially when there was nothing there to block it, and Naruto focus, it spread, causing damage immediately. His opponents were stunned for a few seconds, and the match was over right there and then, as Naruto knocked his foot away and slammed him into the ground, dealing with him rather roughly. The demon brother was unable to feel his legs, the chakra inside of his body serving as a blocker. The responsive going from his brain to his entire body doesn't seem to be functioning rather well. And this wasn't the only thing. Naruto could still perform the standard way the Hyugas fought, but Naruto did not like it. But they did not like when he fought the way he fought, because he was supposed to be fighting like them to show that he was indeed a Hyuga. Kakashi had reappeared, helping Sasuke with the other demon brother. Sasuke was surprised though as he saw Naruto pin the other one. That was something that he wasn't expecting in the slightest. Kakashi Hatake and those that were aware believed that Naruto simply shrank things that were in front of him, but that wasn't the case. Naruto shrank items, he sent them away in a different dimension, yes. He could send them away and simply recall them whenever he pleased. You could see that his strength in terms of his eye visual was growing in every single way. But Naruto was keeping so much to himself. You could see that he really did not trust anyone around him. And that was going to be a huge problem for the future, because Naruto did his research. Turns out that Kakashi Hatake was the student of his father. Yes. And there was another one, his father's teacher, a man known as Jiraiya of the Sannin. But Naruto has never seen a single one of these people by his side when he was younger. Granted, he tended to be alone, but he only discovered that part of himself. He only turned himself that way because he never had anyone. But to learn that there was people out there that were connected to him but never give a damn, never showed up. Naruto had so much anger under the surface, and none of them knew because he covered it rather well. But you know what they say, if you keep your emotions bottled up for too long, you might explode. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification, stay posted. But I'm out for now, see you guys soon. Peace.